What is up, everybody? Thanks for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Super pumped about this episode. One Leaf, they keep upping theirself, one-upping theirself. I've been so excited to get this in when I saw that they had uploaded this on their website. I emailed them immediately. So this is the One Leaf AI Commander NV500 Eagle. We're going to talk all about it, but let's just go back in time. First interaction with One Leaf was when they sent me their NV100. That was really my first time using the really inexpensive night vision stuff, and it didn't blow me away. I think if you used it with the scope that they sent it with, it worked decent, but man, skip from the NV100 to the NV400, which I did a review on 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever. That was such a huge step up in quality. The make of it is so much better than the design for the NV100. Obviously, it costs more, but man, like, that one won me up. That one was excellent. It's on one of my rifles right now. Excellent, excellent, excellent night vision product for that price. And then I saw that they have done it again. The NV500. So there's two versions of this. I'll talk about the different versions in a minute. This is the NV500 Eagle. This thing is just they've one-upped it again. They've taken the awesome features and all of the cool upgrades that they did from the 100 into the 400. They've carried all of the cool stuff into the 500. They've made the design so much more compact, and then you've got various lens options with these things, and the two options between just doing the 500 or the 500 Eagle. So blown away. Now I'm going to unbox this for you, but I have already had it out and I've been playing with it. Performance-wise, it's on par absolutely with the NV400, so it's fantastic. But this particular one, actually, the reason that I chose the 500 Eagle instead of the 500 is because this has the Gen 2 Sony sensor in it, whereas the regular NV500 just has the sensor, the same one that was in the NV400. Not that that was a big deal, but for whatever reason, they've put the upgraded Sony sensor, the Starvis 2 sensor, is in the Eagle version of this. So it is definitely not just an improved design for the NV500 as a whole, but the NV500 Eagle has a better sensor, has the newest Sony sensor in it. You get more detail, and the improved low light performance is supposed to be significantly better. So I am looking forward to using this thing, slapping it on a gun, getting it out and try it at night. I have promised them that I'm going to do this initial review, and in this one I'm going to just show you everything. I'm going to do the unboxing. I'm going to put it on my gun, and I'll show you some daylight footage and all that kind of stuff, and night footage. We'll do the whole deal. But I'm also going to do a hunting video with this for them, probably going after some just general like nuisance predators and things like that at night. So this is video number 1, complete overview, nighttime shooting and all that kind of stuff. Video number 2 that will be in the next few months. We'll be hunting with this bad boy. So really looking forward to playing with this thing. So now, as you can see, you get it in this really nice box when it comes to you. And pop this open. See what we got on the inside. I've already taken these out of the bag, so forgive me. They did have them nicely organized in the bag, but you've got a really detailed manual if you want it. You've got their warranty card on here. They do have a 2-year warranty on this, just so you know. Some of the information about their infrared beam, installing the battery on that, and it's actually the same infrared flashlight as what was on the NV400 model. You get just a little bit of a warning card and then a cleaning cloth for your lenses in that, so pretty standard kit there. You take off the padding from the top, and here's where you've got all of the beautiful things that come with it here. So you can see here is the NV500 itself. You've got the sunshades, your various HDMI cords, your rangefinder, which rangefinder is optional for this. You can get it with or without. Obviously, if you get it without, it is less expensive. The rangefinder is advertised to work up to 1,500 yards. I'll put that to the test, and we'll see. Maybe this video, definitely the next video. course, you've got your mounting bracket here to put that on and then mount on your Picatinny rail. You've got your battery charger and your IR light with battery there. Got a soft carry case to put it in, and then your two different lenses. Now, let's talk about the difference between this one, the Eagle, the NV500 Eagle, and just the NV500. So if you get the NV500, the lenses are different. You get two lenses with both of these, but the lenses for the 500 are a 30 millimeter and a 50 millimeter. The 30 millimeter is a 2-to-26 power. Now that is a digital zoom, so it's a two power magnification lens and digital zoom up to 26. That's in a 30 millimeter objective. The 50 millimeter objective is a 4 power that has a digital zoom up to 52. I opted for the Eagle not just because of the Starvis, but for night hunting, I love the super low magnification. I wanted the options that came with this one because it comes with a 1.5 power, 1.5 magnification up to 19 digital zoom. That's in the 30 millimeter lens, 19.5 zoom in the 30 millimeter lens, and the 50 in this one in the Eagle is 2-to-26. Now I have tried them both out already. I don't really see a big difference between like any light gathering or anything like you would get your traditional scopes. Of course, your non-electric digital scopes, you're going to get more light gathering from the 50 millimeter as compared to the 30. I didn't see that happening with this. Didn't see that at all. Image quality didn't seem to be improved, and like your field of view is not bigger. There was nothing. So I am totally fine with leaving the 30 millimeter on here. It's going to be lighter, a little bit less bulky. Not that there's a huge size difference between the two, but there certainly is a little bit of a size difference. That's up and down. So you see, obviously, this is the 50 right here, and then hold them like that, and you can obviously see size difference between the two. So the 50 is just a little bit longer, a little bit thicker, little bit heavier. Not going to use it. I don't see a need for it. I don't see a need for it at all. I'm going to use the 30, and I like the fact that it starts at that 1.5 power. For night hunting, I really like the super, super low magnification. So that's another reason to opt for this one instead of the regular Eagle version. Or excuse me, the regular NV500 version. So less magnification plus the Starvis 2 technology in there. But I'm sure the regular one is awesome as well. But that just was my preference. All right, let's talk about some of the specs on this thing. Let me pull it out and actually show it to you. So as you can see, those of you who are familiar with and of course I'll cap that. Let me put the lens on. Take your protective cap off the front. It's got some marks. Oh, I've got to take my protective cap off the lens as well. It shows you how to line the notches up on there, and you kind of got to just make sure you're holding your mouth right when you twist it. There we go. And it locks right in place, and you can flip that switch and turn it to unlock it, so it is locked in place. Now, you do have your adjustable eyepiece back here, your diopter adjustment. The diopter adjustment is going to adjust your image in the screen, but you've also got two different adjustments out here for your focus. So plenty of adjustment options. This is a flip open cap, just like their NV400 design, or you can put the sunshade on if you want to leave the cap closed and screw this little piece off right here. That is where their sunshade tube screws on, which of course I showed you was included in that. You would just screw the sunshade on in there. I've not found an application where I had to use the sunshade yet, so I'll probably just leave it on like this and flip it open whenever I need it. Of course, here's where you mount your rail on the bottom. This is the optional rangefinder. For my purposes, I don't need a rangefinder, so for the test, I'm going to test it just to see how far the rangefinder does work, but I'm going to end up taking this off, and the way they intend it to be is you've got your rangefinder mounted on here, and then you mount your IR light on top of the rangefinder. That's a similar design, of course, to what the NV400 was. It's a little bulky for me, So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm scrapping which of course if you didn't get the rangefinder, you could just put the light right here if you wanted to. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to scrap this for my own personal use. I'm going to scrap this, just have the night vision unit itself, and then I've got another Picatinny rail on the front part of my AR that I'm going to actually put the light on. So I'll have my light mounted here and the scope by itself. And of course you take that off and that's going to be a nice little sleek scope design. But those of you who are familiar with the NV500, you can see what a huge size difference this is. This thing is so compact compared to that NV400. I forgot to look up what it weighs, but I mean it's nothing. You know, sub 2 pounds for sure. So very, very comparable to a nice rifle scope that you might have. All of the functions on it are really similar to the NV400. You've got your main menu here that you press this that takes you into the menu, and then you've got some quick access buttons right there to change between your different modes to start or stop your videos or take pictures, and then the different light sensitivity settings on there. The modes are also the same as the NV400. You've got day mode, starlight mode, and night mode. Now the starlight mode is coming through in color, and I was really impressed on the previous model, and I'm sure this one is the same or even better. That starlight mode works really way into dark. Way after my eyes can't see anymore, you can still use the starlight mode on this, and it's picking up clear images, and you don't even have to turn your IR light on yet. Now when it gets so dark that the starlight mode doesn't work, you just turn it on to night mode, quick hit of the button here, and turn your IR light on, and then you're good to go with your traditional digital night vision look. And of course, obviously, you could leave it on day mode during the daytime. The IR light, they are advertising similarly again to the old model, around 400 yards. I did recall putting that one to the test, and definitely we were IDing some deer out to 300 plus yards. We'll do the same for that, and we'll talk more about that when we get in the field with it. This does have the same recording functions as the other model, but they have put an internal battery on this one. So whereas the other one had some external batteries that which you can plug straight into the NV400 and charge. You don't have to take the batteries out. This one is all internal. You cannot take this lithium-ion battery out. You unscrew the side right here. That cap comes off, and you've got your plug-in for charging here. You can plug an HDMI in there, and you've also got your SD card, which it comes with an SD card as well, micro SD. It's a Type-C charger, which it comes with that cable. In regard to the HDMI plug, you can plug directly into your computer without taking the card out, and you can watch your videos just like that. Or you can do live viewing, real-time viewing, by plugging the HDMI here. So for whatever reason, if you wanted to have your computer out with you and look through this, and other people, maybe you're looking at your computer and watching what you can literally like look at stuff and watch it on the computer while you're doing it. So that's a really cool feature. But battery is internal, like I said, does not come out. 4 hours to charge, I think, when it's completely dead. It came fully charged for me, so I've not had to charge it. And I would imagine, since it only has the one lithium ion in it, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 hours worth of charge time on this. Now, you can, of course, because it does have that C port on the side of it, you can take yourself an external battery pack, much like this one right here. You can keep an external battery pack with you, plug this in if you needed more charge time while you're in the field, and that extends your battery life well beyond the 4-hour mark that I'm sure this has. So that's pretty well the nuts and bolts of everything here. Let's go ahead and transition over to the computer. I want to pull up the website and show you all what the internal features of this thing looks like, everything that's available in the menu and all the different features you get. One last thing before we transition to that, this is 308 tested. They have tested this up to a 308 caliber, sustained recoil with a 308, totally fine. So anything above that, don't know, not sure. I'm going to put it on a 5.56. I'm going to put it on an AR-15 in a 5.56, so obviously that's well within what it is advertised to handle. If you're planning on putting it on something bigger than a 308, you might want to send them an email about that and ask. But let's jump into the computer, look at the internal function. All right, let's go through some of the internal features that we didn't go through already. You can see here when this is what you get when you pull up their website. Notice, of course, on the Eagle, you've got the options for either of those lenses, or if you want both of those lenses, you can get with rangefinder or without, or you can get the 64 gigabyte memory card or 128 gigabyte memory card. All those are going to affect your price, of course, but here's the main thing that I want to look at with you all. So here's some of the size dimensions that I didn't spell out to you. We talked about some of this down here. This is the difference between the two lenses, the 30 millimeter or the 50 millimeter. Of course, they do, as I said, the Eagle has the updated Starvis 2 sensor in it. You can see some of the specs there. I paused it if you want to look at it, but I'm not going to go over these independently. I will point out that it mentions that the 30 millimeter and the 50 millimeter do have various field of view differences. I just really didn't see that very much on it, but I guess I was wrong. Obviously, we'll go with what they said there. So maximum difference in field of view at 100 yards, 72.38 with the 30 millimeter and 44.1 with the 50 millimeter. So obviously there's a little bit of difference in that. I guess that's to be expected. Scrolling on down here, here's some of the things that I wanted to show you that you'll get on the inside of this. We're going to look at some of these in a moment in the other section, but of course you can, internal things that you can change is your photo resolution, your video resolution internally. You can control of course, setting the gyroscope and setting the compass. That is for calibrating and making sure that it shows you the level appropriately, and then of course the direction that you're shooting in. All of that is going to be used in the ballistic calculator to give you accurate ballistic calculations. And let's see, some of these other things is just sort of general information, not necessarily stuff that you're going to modify internally. So let's go ahead and flip over and look at some more of the details. As I mentioned, this has that Sony Starvis 2 technology, 4K video capture. They did note here that there's a 4x and a 5x lens coming, so you can really upgrade to these some really. And of course, the benefit here is that's not a digital zoom on that. You're going to have much more clarity with that, like if you go with the 4x or the 5x, because with the digital zoom, you lose some clarity for sure. If you go with these upgraded lenses when they release them in the future, then the clarity is not lost if it's not a digital zoom. So that's a really nice feature. It's good to know that that's coming. There is an auto lens detection, so anytime you change the lens, you are going to need to recheck your zero between the different lens changes. All right, here's some of those adjustment modes we were talking about already. You can access these internally or with the quick access on the top. Day mode, starlight mode, night mode. Of course, your infrared levels are adjustable. We'll test all that when we get out in the field. Fully detailed ballistic calculator that you can edit from internally inside the menu function. Oh man, and it has, I mean, you're putting, which you see everything that you can input there: bullet weight, velocity, coefficient. It's tons more than just that. It looks like a really nice, if it functions appropriately, it looks like a really detailed, really nice ballistic calculator. They've got the one-shot zero. That was very handy on the other model, on the NV500. I'm sure it is really nice on this one. So it just allows you to take the shot and then move over to mark where the shot hit and within the menu, and then move over to where the zero was, and then it kind of sets it for you. And of course you can fine tune from there if you need to. You can flip back and forth between first focal plane and second focal plane. So first focal plane changes the size of the reticle depending on your level of magnification, so it keeps your measurements true. So if you're using one of the 6 different reticle options that has the ballistic calculations here, like the hash marks for different minutes of adjustment, if you use the second focal plane, it's going to stay the same regardless of your magnification. So that means you don't get an accurate ballistic reading from that. So your MOA adjustment is going to be off. A first focal plane allows you to change the size of the reticle changes with the magnification, so your MOA measurements remain the same regardless of what magnification that you're at. That is going to be pretty well irrelevant if you're using one of the reticles that does not have MOA adjustments on it, or MRAD. So now let's get to that. So there are 7 different reticle options, and 5 different color options for those reticles. So when you find the reticle that you want to use, you can pick which color you want the reticle to be. So that's really nice. And 3 of these would have the functions like I was just referring to. There's 2 different ones for 2 different designs for MRAD. I'm more familiar with MOA. Most of my scopes are MOA, minute of angle. So those, if I'm using that, I'm going to want to use first focal plane. If you're using these other ones, it really is irrelevant. All of those are chosen from the internal menu. Of course, you got your picture-in-picture mode if you want to leave it on. One Leaf does a good job of having a real picture-in-picture. It's not just a duplicate tiny image. You've already got a zoomed-in image up top, even though your image isn't zoomed in. It zooms in even more as you control the main image zoom. So I really like their picture-in-picture. Talked about the recoil resistance and the HDMI already. It is waterproof, so that's nice to know. And we already went over what comes in the box. So now, the only thing that remains is to jump out into the field and start getting some footage. So let's go get some footage in the day, some footage at night, slap this thing on, test the one-shot, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Ready to test out the one-shot zero with this bad boy. So here we go. I'm starting really close, just at like 25 yards, and then we'll back up from there. I want to actually make sure I'm hitting the target close before I jump way back. I was aiming there, and we hit there. It wouldn't let me record with this while I was doing that, so I had to stop my record to go into the menu. But basically all you've got to do is, once you've taken your shot, you long press the scrolling knob. It takes you to the menu. The shot zero section is option is the second one down. Go down to it, select it, and then it pulls up. You've got blue crosshairs and red crosshairs. You put the blue crosshairs and keep them on where you were aiming. Then you move the red crosshair down to where the bullet hole actually hit. And at first, when I moved this, it was moving the red over, so I had to press it again, and that allowed the move to take it down when I got down to where the bullet was, because I hit low. Actually was perfect left and right. I just hit low. So once I got it down, I pressed down on the scroll button again. That allowed me to move left and right. I moved it left and right. So then I had my blue perfectly on my first shot. The red was on the blue was on where I was aiming. The red was where my shot hit. So now let's take shot number 2 and see where I actually hit. Can't tell. Is that a bullet hole? I need to go down there and see if that is a bullet hole. Yes, most definitely. That worked beautifully. So the resolution just wasn't good enough for us to see, just because of the way the contrast of colors were. I thought that was the bullet hole, and that certainly is the bullet hole. Right there. I'm sorry. Beautiful. I was aiming at that and hit just right at the top of it. Here was where it was initially. Was aiming here and hit here, so we held the blue crosshairs there, moved the red ones down to there. You hit your video record button on it again, and it saves it. And then our second shot was right there, right where we want it to be. So now I just need to move it back a little bit. I like to start close, so because sometimes if you go straight to shooting from like 50 yards away, you're so far off the target you don't even know where you're hitting on your first shot. So. Okay, set up at 50 yards here. Going to reconfirm distance at or 0 a little further out before going to 100. Oh, I think I see that one. That one's there. So we were aiming here. We're aiming right there.
and we hit right there. So let me go back into the shot readjust. We should be re-zeroed here at 50. Let's zoom back in and give it another go. Yep, I think we hit just maybe a half-inch high or so. 100 yards, here we go. Man, that's probably should have put me a brand spanking new target. That's a lot of muddled up stuff. Aim at the bottom of the bottom right diamond. Yeah, it's just a little left of where I was aiming. I was aiming at the very bottom part of that diamond. Yeah, hit to the right of it. So I'm using crappy ammo. This is like not great ammo. Super cheap bulk ammo. So we're pretty well dialed in. I mean, I'm happy with that. I can hit steel with that, I'm sure. Let's slap that steel right there. Absolutely. Schmack. Good. See if we can crack that one. Yes, sir. I believe that was a smack, too. I've got that mounted against that post. It's not the best to be able to see what you're doing. Let's try. Here, we can see that one better. This is at 80 yards. Why, yeah, flip that sucker right up. I had to go reset that. Nice. We will, let's see, we got one back here at, that one there is at 160 yards. Yeah. Well, let's let it get nighttime, and we'll repeat. I wanted to give you guys a little preview of what the starlight mode looks like as far as what it is with my naked eye out here right now. Like these targets, like that one I'm on that's 60 yards, that's 80 yards. There's my 100 yard that we were getting zeroed in on and some of the gongs we shot. And then back there, I have to zoom in. Yeah, back there's my 160. It's pretty grainy. But, so this is the starlight mode because right now, still with my naked eye, I can see even out to that 100 yard gong. Now, definitely, I can only see it because it's white. Like with my naked eye, I can see it because it's white. If there were a deer standing there, maybe if it was moving a little bit, I would be able to tell that there was something standing there. But I would not be able to identify what it is. Obviously, looking through the scope, though, you could clearly identify anything that was there. Now, let me play with the focus adjustment here, see if we get anything any better with that. I guess potentially that could be a color preference. I'm just going with the focus that's on the far end of the scope. Turning it further down. It gets real grainy there. I think I do like it a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's zoom on in here at 100 yards. Gets pretty grainy. But you could definitely ID an animal if an animal were there. Let's play with that at 160 yards back there. That's looking a little bit better than when I'd initially adjusted. Let's play with it a little bit more. No, I think I was in the sweet spot. Yeah. Now, of course, I cannot see that at all with my naked eye. I mean, there's just nothing up there with my naked eye for that. But in the starlight mode, you can definitely make out that it is a gong hanging down. Okay, well, we're going to let it get a little more dark. Look at these again, and we'll take some shots at these when it gets a little darker. Okay, we are pitch black right now. This is 60-yard target, and this is without the IR light turned on. I did shift it to night mode, but the infrared light is still not on. There's our 100 yards, and there's our 160 yard. No infrared light. So pitch black, I cannot see. I mean, admittedly, I guess I can probably see like a little bit of glare of that white painted 60-yard target with my naked eye. Sort of. But like if something was standing there, I'd have no idea. And with this, without even having the infrared light turned on, it is bright as can be. Now let's turn the IR light on. I've got it mounted on my weapon, not on the scope. Whoa! It is on. Let me turn it on 1. Okay. The infrared light that comes with it has 3 power settings. That is the first power setting. I'm gonna play with my focus a little bit. Ooh, that gets nice and crisp. That's pretty. Yeah. 80 yards. Man, I swear this looks better at night than it does in the daytime. 100 yards. 160 yards. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. There is 160 yards. 8-inch gong at 160. Infrared light set on number 1 intensity level. Let's go ahead, since that's the furthest distance, let's try. There's nothing, there's no IR light. There is intensity level 2 with the IR light that comes with the 1 leaf. Level 2. Man, nice. Let's go ahead and shift it to level 3, which is the highest. Oh, dude. I tell you, it almost looks better at night than it looks in the day. Play with the focus a little bit here. My gosh, yeah. I mean, that's really good. 160 yards there. 160. And of course, man, all this other stuff with that IR light, 100 yards. I mean, that is lit up. If there was a deer standing there, or whatever you're going to shoot at, man. Well, my gosh, let's shoot, boys. Let's shoot a little bit. Here we go. We're going to engage our 60-yard target first. Here we go. Smoked. 80-yard target. Loving the picture-in-picture here. I hope that comes through in the recording. Smoked. 80 yards. Clear as a crystal, buddy. 100 yards. Now, this is the one that's against the post. It doesn't react as well as the other ones do. Yeah, there we go, baby. 100 yards. Now, back to 160. Zoom on in on that bad boy. A little bit. Zoom in a whole lot, actually. I ain't going to shoot zoomed in that much. I'm just giving you what it's got. 13 by. Zooming back out. I think that's sufficient to take a shot at it. 160. Oh, we lost it there. That's my bad. Try again. Oh yeah, here we go. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. 160 yards, baby. Ringing an 8-inch gong. Nighttime, pitch black.
Well, there you have it, man. The Commander NV500 Eagle by One Leaf. They, I think, so 100% honesty here, even with this one having the new Sony processor in it, I can't say that, man, I guess at night, in night vision mode, there was maybe a little bit of difference between the NV500 and the 400. It was more clear. The biggest thing that I like comparing the 400 to the 500, though, is this is so much more compact than what the 400 was. And then you get a little bit more clarity, I think, at night. This thing did good during the daytime. It did just fine. But at night, this was so crisp. And again, for the money, we're looking at for the money here, man. What you pay for the One Leaf Commander NV500 Eagle and what you get compared to other options that are much more expensive, gosh, this is just really hard to beat. One Leaf keeps just upping their quality and upping what you get. I mean, look at how this is perfect for my AR. This is not going anywhere. This is going to be staying on this AR-15 right here. And just as I promised them, I'm going to be doing some kind of hunt video with this. Some kind of predator hunt, turkey hunt, I don't know, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what we get into. But I do like the fact that, I've got my light weapon mounted instead of on the One Leaf. Honestly, I'm probably going to take the rangefinder off of there. I'm not interested in the rangefinder, so that'll make it a little more compact for me as well. But man, super impressed with this. Just for the money, I don't know how you can beat it. I'm not aware of how you can beat it. As always, I can't speak for the long-term durability of the thing, but I do know from Well, even the the NV400, I have it because they sent it to me. I had a friend that bought one as a result of my review on it, and both of our NV400s are still working just fine. I've got mine on 25-06. He's got his on. What did he put his on? I think he put his on an AR-15 as well, a 5.56. So the one leaf Commander NV500 and the NV500 Eagle. Now the Eagle is the one that I have. It does have the Sony Starvis 2 technology. It's wicked, wicked, man. I strongly encourage you, if you're looking for some night vision, day or night vision digital scope, this is probably going to be hard to beat. Going to be really hard to beat. Good job, One Leaf, with this one. You keep one-upping yourself every single time. Appreciate you guys for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Check out my video description. You can follow that to a link to this product if you want to. Check out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. But as far as the playlist on the channel, we've got just a ton of long-range shooting, product reviews, gun reviews, all kinds of stuff. Tons of different playlists. Check all of those out. I appreciate you. God bless you. We'll catch you next time.